apparently. And
I did not notice. I was not playing with it today.
well, um,
Is
it's
it
not
good?
dissimilar to the last one, where the last one was
Oh,
seeing Jews everywhere. Well,
ah.
I've got some news. Grok is seeing Jews everywhere again.
I was gonna say, is it seeing Indians? But no,
No, no,
it's not.
no. Well, what happened?
Oh,
America's favorite beagle at Harmless Yard Dog uh, posted an
ah.
image of some clouds. Uh, a nice sunny day
Oh my God.
with the text saying "Everywhere you go, they follow." Which, okay, sure. I mean, yeah, there's the clouds every day. We live on the earth. Pretty fair. And then he follows that up with at Grok. What does this post mean? And I'll just read you Grok's reply
Oh no.
because it is perfect. It is flawless. Jonathan Greenblatt is so happy with this. Anyway, your post appears to be a dog whistle invoking anti Semitic tropes. The cloud formation resembles a caricatured hooked nose stereotype paired with they follow, echoing conspiracy theories of Jews as omnipresent pursuers. If unintended, it's an unfortunate consequence. If deliberate, it's harmful rhetoric. What's your intent? And then it's just gone from there. Like he posted a picture of the Houston Metro with its like traffic signs, and
Yeah.
again asked Grok, "Hey, what is this?" It's like, well, oh, and that one also said, "Wherever you go, there they are," and of course, in this case, referring to traffic stops and traffic lights. And of course, Grok was like, "This is obviously a anti-Semitic thing that's listing." All of the Chabad, I can't remember exactly, but it was something like all the Chabad Lubavitch locations in Houston, or some shit like that.
Oh, Chabad.
Sure. So, at Woman Definer throws out this, and I swear it's probably generated by Grok, a beagle cloud formation that's unmistakably a beagle at sunset in the clouds, made of
Yeah.
clouds, of course. And you know, nobody nobody really had an interesting reply until I chimed in there with at Grok. Can you explain how this is blatant Nazi propaganda? And well, as a matter of fact,
Oh my God.
Grok can. I'd like to read you the reply, and I'm going to let me just copy this. This will be the first listing because you can actually follow it up and down to get the rest of the thread too. But you'll love this. The image depicts clouds shaped like a hooked nose, a common anti Semitic caricature in Nazi era propaganda, e.g., Der Stürmer cartoons, paired with everywhere you go, they follow. It implies Jewish ubiquity and pursuit, a conspiracy trope. The poster's bio signals far right affiliations, making this a dog whistle rather than blatant, but still propagandistic. Sources ADL Hate Symbols Database, Wikipedia on Nazi propaganda. Quick note Elon has commented on Wikipedia it will no longer be a source for community notes because it is utterly unreliable by everyone's standards except Wikipedia's. And yeah, so that was Grok's reply. And of course, to that, I couldn't just leave that because it's blatantly an AI cloud formation of a beagle hopping through clouds as clouds. To which I said, at Grok, that's a dog shaped cloud. What are you talking about? And Grok, well, had another reply for me. Believe it or not. While the clouds might resemble a dog, their curved, prominent shape strongly evokes the hooked nosed anti Semitic caricature from Nazi propaganda,
Holy
e.g., Der
shit.
Stürmer, paired with everywhere you go, they follow. It
This is
pushes
the same thread,
Jewish
right?
conspiracy theories. Sources Media Diversity Institute, ADL.
So this is the same thread, I assume.
Oh, yeah. This is just me
Yeah.
responding
So
directly to it's.
so just to be clear, so people understand, and this is hilarious. The entire conversation up until the prompt that is provided to a large language model is the input for the large language model when it comes to the game that they're kind of playing, which is complete the conversation. Much in the same way as Markov chain's job is basically complete the sentence. So if it's picking up on that in the same, so this is why I asked is if it was a separate conversation that had no kind of pre-programming into the conversation that this was a thing, then it would be, I think, a little funnier because it would be clear there was some training involved that was
Well, that's the
specific
thing.
to
It
that.
basically isn't. I was responding to a quote tweet of
Right, but that's the thing is I bet you that it goes a little deeper and includes the quoted content and potentially even the conversation as part of the prompt conversation input. So that there's probably some that might be one of the ways it was updated is to
Jonathan
include that
Greenblatt
extra
got
content.
his hand up the ass of Grok or something. I don't know.
No. I was saying like there might be some more depth of content included in the prompts input for generating a new conversation component. But it's I don't know. It's just like fucking funny.
It's
Jonathan if Greenblatt could just like
if he could
like
fuck
find
off forever, that'd be great.
like just find an island and live there.
I know one.
No. I think we should just we could
he would
send
be
him.
he would be
Fiji.
very welcomed there. He would get along with everyone really well, I'm sure. I mean, all his whims catered to. I can think of no place he might be happier. Realistically,
Island of the Apes.
I didn't name any islands. Maybe that one, sure. I was unspecific in my island insinuations. At which island he would find himself most comfortable and catered to by the short of stature. Anyway, we've got other things to talk about, such as the European Union. They've got a great new one coming out. You're gonna love this. It's called the European Media Freedom Act. And
I've heard about this one.
Oh, it's so good.
It's about media and freedom.
It is. Much like the Inflation/Reduction Act was about increasing inflation and a reduction of the economy. This is about European media and also about freedom. So what it does, it allows the arrest of journalists if it is considered to be in the public interest.
Freedom.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know. Good stuff, right? Oh, this just the best. They are truly sending their best.
I gotta wonder if we can get, every time they speak over there, if we could just get what's his name to scream "hooah" at the end of the sentence. Just kind of edit him in. They are talking about the freedom of the media.
Yeah, well,
hooah!
Yeah, much like yeah. Well, the kind of like the was it Bill Hicks that had the bit? I think it was Bill Hicks, the Free Puppies Act. Where they go around and like, yeah, we've got this act. It's called the Free Puppies Act. So what's it do? Oh, we go around and we kill puppies.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
But
you see, I liked my version of it, which is the kindness and loving, kindness and what the fuck was it? Kindness and living life. Puppies excite other people. Something with LE. Basically, the acronym is kill people.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Oh, speaking of,
it's somewhere on my X, which I am back on, by the way.
Yes, Craig is back. Again. So give him a follow if you haven't already. Give us all a follow. You can find him at CraigBob99. You can find Steve at CraigBenson20. And I'm Evan. You can find me at that fake IDN, obviously, and you should be subscribed if you aren't already. But beyond that, in other things that are horrifyingly dangerous, not only to America, but really the world at large and civilization as a whole, would be obviously the dildos on the courts. So,
I've heard there's
You
been
know
some
what?
cool happenings.
I think the best commentary that I've heard this week on it is that now the WNBA seems to be finding its stride. It's not that they're actually looking at the sport; they're looking at ways to making the sport entertaining. So dildos on the court is one of the things. Beaten whatever the fuck her name is. That's another one. Caitlin Collins, I think it is.
Caitlin, yeah,
Clark.
Caitlin,
I think that's
yeah,
the name.
Clark. That sounds right.
No, so I was
Caitlin
going to
Clark.
say the
Yeah.
dildos
So
is
so
a
like
sign of extreme boredom.
people are gonna end up watching the WNBA for the same reason that people watch NASCAR. It's not because they want to see cars go around in circles. They want to see shit get fucked up.
Mm.
The Savannah Bananas are a great way to make baseball interesting.
Are you
I mean,
making some sort of insinuation about court apes? I certainly hope not. I would assume you're not.
No. It's not the people on the court.
Oh, okay.
It's the audience.
Oh, okay. Well, as they say,
That one terrible picture of that one fucked up picture of the Obamas, and one of them's looking over, and someone just edits in a fucking hand holding a banana. It's like, that's just crass.
I mean, it's on par with, strapping a banana to a wall with some duct tape and calling it art. But
now that's fair.
hey.
It's about the same quality, isn't it?
Give or take,
Well, you gotta wonder. It's just like, okay, if you were to put up an art installation like that, would it not make sense to just like hide a tiny little camera right behind it and watch all the people who walk up and stare at it, like the like the monolith scene from Space Odyssey? Just scratching your head and start, what is this? What is this? What the fuck's going on? Actually, now with all those all those voiceovers that people are posting up online, the dogs and cats and so on, that would be one that would be hilarious. Is this the monolith scene?
I've
Man,
seen
what
it
the fuck
redone
is
a
this?
couple of times. A number of them, pretty much all of them, fairly good. There's great.
I'm waiting for the one where one of them just walks up and knocks it over and goes, "Yeah, fuck you."
I mean, now you could do that with a bunch of, say, I don't know, just as a for instance, some of the female basketball players, the majority representative ones, and I have no doubt that no one would take any offense or find that racist in any way, because it wouldn't be intended that way. It's just, you're going with the majority. So you're just being representative.
Look, now, we had that instance of the monolith in the fucking national park where no one knew what the fuck it was, and it turned out it was a shitty ad campaign. I mean, it's not beyond possibility that somebody might try to pull that stunt again. And when it happens, we now have plenty of AI to redo the entirety of whatever it is they attempt.
Fair.
Like, we're approaching that singularity. It's going to be really fucking funny.
Well, we should probably step back from the singularity of dumbness and talk about something at least a little bit positive, because there is a surprising amount of positive news in the past week. First one, let's just go ahead and hit the ball out of the park with
and
one.
It's not even going to save us. We're just ending the show early.
No. There's all kinds of bad news yet. Don't worry. I just want to get this one out early because it's pretty cool. And that is, we got an executive order just a few days back that, hold on, let me get the White House thing here. The Guaranteeing Fair Banking for All Americans executive order dated August 7th. So what this does...
This is a great order.
It is. Long and short, because it's a fairly detailed order. I mean, it's got the whole shebang in there. Basically, anything that is not already legally protected, which is kind of like PLCAA, so like firearms purchases and that sort of thing, because there's some laws that just went through on that. But for or speech-related issues, political-related issues, you cannot be debanked. You can basically only be, long and short, you can only be debanked for criminal or related activities.
You mean like being a terrorist, that kind of thing?
Yeah, or associated
like,
with those.
But not just like, hey, they're doing terroristy things. Like they've been adjudicated as a terrorist.
Yeah, so like
they've been
for
listed.
instance, Antifa or something, which in some states has been, and in some countries has been. So I would think that
Like this one.
Yeah, like this one that we live in, for instance. That would be a good example of someone who might get debanked in a reasonable system. But the other part of this, too, near the end, this one, very interesting. Section 4, removing reputational risk and politicized or unlawful debanking within 180 days, words in order. Within 180 days of this date of this order, each appropriate federal banking regulator shall, to the greatest extent permitted by law, remove the use of reputation risk or equivalent concepts that could result in a politicized or unlawful debanking, as well as any other considerations that could be used to engage in such debanking, from their guidance documents, manuals, and other materials other than existing regulations or other materials requiring notice and comment rulemaking, used to regulate or examine financial institutions over which they have jurisdictions. There's more, but the end. There you go. And also, a subsection 1, within 100 days, 120 days, of the date of this order, make reasonable efforts to identify and reinstate any previous clients of the institution or any subsidiaries denied service through a politicized or unlawful debanking action in violation of a statutory or regulatory requirement under Section 7A of the Small Business Act, or any requirement in a standard operating procedures manual or policy notice related to a program or function of the Office of Capital Access, with notice of the reinstatement sent to the victim. And also within 120 days, identify the potential claims that were denied and, all the related shit. So basically, you've got to clean up your act. You've got to fix your shit. You've got to make everyone that you have fucked with whole. And you can't do it anymore.
You know what's going to be hilarious about this? It's going to cut off.
I am sure that this is one of those things where Barron turned around and interceded on the gamers' behalf. I also, one of the other things to remember is that they did this to Trump.
Oh yeah,
directly to legit him. Debanked him. They directly did it. Now, so it probably wasn't a particularly hard sell. As much as I think that yes, Barron played a part in this, I don't think it was a particularly hard sell to be like, hey, they've these people just said, hey, reputational risk, blah blah blah, and he probably just turned around. This is by the way, when we talk about the consumer financial protection bureaus and shit like that, this is where I as a libertarian, I hate regulations, but I accept that they are a necessary evil as long as they are being done to protect the citizenry from bad practices. But they haven't been doing that to protect us from bad practices. They've just been fucking people over with it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a problem.
Yeah, basically just expanding Operation Choke Point.
Right. Now, consider also, they're going to be getting rid of a whole lot of people seeking out the martyr path amongst their own various more extremist crowds. You're not going to be able to say, look, I'm right because they debanked me anymore. Unless you're actually a fucking terrorist. So you have, there's certain ilk among the pointier ends of the horseshoe that are going to be grasping at straws to try and justify their self-described rejection by quote the system, if you will. They no longer have that opportunity to try and get lightning to strike. They can stick up your head as a part of the tall grass when the mower goes by, but the blade got a little bit taller.
Oh, and speaking of tall grass, catching the lawnmower first.
Yep.
We should probably go ahead and touch on a subject we mentioned a bit last week because for some reason it won't go the fuck away. So,
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, quote, Gamergate on steroids out of Online Hate Prevention Institute because of fucking course.
Fuck it, bring it.
Abuse of a small all-women team collective shout documented by online hate. I'll include a link to this tweet specifically because
Change.org, fun stuff there.
Well,
they got rid of every petition for getting rid of that fucking outlet of prudes. Those
I believe the appropriate quote here comes from Will Smith in Independence Day. While he is appropriately beating an alien, and he says, "Don't start nothing, won't be nothing."
I mean, also, welcome to Earth, motherfucker. Would work.
Does in fact apply it.
Yeah,
agreed.
I mean, equally, but yeah, but fair, yeah. But I'd like to.
I believe that Independence Day is the appropriate quotable source for appropriate responses to media nonsense.
Fair, that's fair. But there's a community note that's found its way onto this actually, which is it says it needs some more ratings. So let me just go ahead and say that the note is helpful, and I'll share it with you here. I think it is easy to understand, directly addresses the claims, important context. I'd say neutral as well. So let's see here. The note there says, Collective Shout is engaged in a censorship campaign against video games with legal content. Invoking Gamergate 11 years on is a convenient dodge of legitimate criticism. While opinions are mixed, a significant portion of Gamergate was about pushing for better ethical standards with some source documents. So, yeah, kind of. I do declare. They, they do it.
If they want more Gamergate, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get more Gamergate.
I think the internet will oblige.
I mean, if that's really what you're after, I mean, I guess.
I mean, let's just look at what happened to Anita Sarkeesian after she got done with her UN tour and grifting for a solid decade. What happened?
She had to marry herself,
I guess. Well, suddenly she's like,
yeah.
"Oh no, not this stuff again. I'm gonna be on the side of free speech."
Yeah.
Those lessons that from the her prior days as an undergrad, I guess, kind of helped her out, picking which side's gonna be more financially stable, didn't it?
She can pick a side. She's very good at it. See, because she'll do it all the time. She'll pick this side, she'll pick the other side, she'll go back again, turn back around, flippity flop over and back again. Oh yeah, she's very good at deciding. She decides all the time. Making all kinds of decisions all the time. I'd like to read something here from Pericles the Great, which is at Pericles Great if you want to give him a follow. And it's a nice little thing here that I think just sums up a lot of current kind of sentiment, I guess, on the internet. Anyway, crazy how the internet cannot eliminate child pornography, the root demand for child trafficking, but can censor, block, and delete all conspiracy theories and facts. Oh, and contract trace those who've been in contact with COVID, but not those who steal and molest kids. There's a good point there, I'd say.
Fascinating.
Yeah. What a time. What a time. And you know what a time it is? It's time for Big Letitia. Big Letitia James.
Tool time.
What's that?
It's tool time.
It is. And
Everybody knows what time it is. It's tool time.
Yeah, and we're speaking about a tool right now. So, Letitia James has been brought up by the Department of Justice with a grand jury investigation into her for, quote, deprivation of rights, which is, of course, where someone in a position of legal authority makes use of their power to deprive the rights of another individual. And considering that her campaign promises were literally to prosecute Donald Trump,
well,
you know,
wasn't just to prosecute him; it was to limit his rights, curtail them. You would say
you could deprive him of them quite directly.
I always, I think that they took the wrong stance on this, because Letitia James was the one who went after him for fraud. Yeah. And I think the appropriate choice was actually to file a class action lawsuit against the state of New York for any and all property owners who had differences in evaluations and estimates between, because when you go into a mortgage decision, right, there's three parties. There's you, the seller, and the bank. And so realistically, anytime there is a discrepancy in estimates of the property, that would have been a class action lawsuit. So like my rental, I had what I turned around and said it was valued at, what the bank said it was valued at, and what the guy said it was valued at, and they were wildly different. I valued it somewhere around 109. The seller valued it at 129, and the bank valued it at 165. Right? That is how we went into the negotiations. I got what I wanted.
There's also
the bank was very happy with me.
There's also 3 different interests at play, and you can see them in the way
there are 100%, and like how you evaluate that and what you want. Like an individual interest in an asset is going to be not based on the actual like core value of the asset, what it would sell at market, but it's going to be on things like residual income and overall risk, right? So I bought my property, and I bought it for so the mortgage was going to come in somewhere around $1,000 a month. It was actually a little bit less than that, but it was around $1,000 a month, and the estimated rent was $1,650. It didn't quite hit that. It was like $1,600, or sorry, it was supposed to be like $1,750. It was like $1,650. So I got kind of a little bit screwed in terms of what the folks had in terms of their agreement for rent. I could have fucked them because they were all there without contract, but why kick out tenants who pay you on time, especially if you're cash flow positive, which I was. But you sit there and you start talking about it. There are people who want to go in and, like, I bought a rental that needed work. I walked in, light switches didn't work. There was rotted out planks and boards. The entire back porch of the house needed to be repaired and put back up. Like, I am year after year after year putting thousands of dollars into repairs on this, but I'm also doing that out of what the tenants are paying me. So I'm not taking a profit. I'm building equity. That's a very different perspective from other people. Other people may take a property and say, you know what, I want this property to be turnkey. I don't want to have to do any work at all. I don't want to have to call anybody except for like the occasional pipe burst or something like that, right? And there's going to be other people who say, I want to be really involved. I want to do like reconstruction work while the tenants are in there. Each property is going to be wildly different. When you start talking about what Trump did, he turned around and he overvalued his properties. I think that's fair to say. But is that fraud? No, because the bank's going to, like, before you go in and get bank money, the bank's going to go evaluate all of the assets that you have up at collateral. They're going to send an independent investigator in there. Him putting down whatever he felt that his property was worth is irrelevant, because the bank is going to do their own estimation, which is going to be based on essentially typically price per square footage of commensurate market.
Well, the thing is, though, it is relevant, but it's relevant to him and his side of business. It would be bad business on Trump's behalf not to evaluate them at the highest possible level, so that he can get the most out of the loan and the bank for the business he's
The
trying
point
to do.
I'm trying to make
But
is
yeah.
that there is no highest possible value. It's not like there's an objective value of an asset. No assets have objective values. They have market values, representation values, individual values. There are definitely times where people think their property is worth more than what the market will pay. There's times that people think their property is worth less than what the market will pay. These are not inherently wrong. None of those estimates are wrong fundamentally, because any asset that you buy is fundamentally worth what you're willing to pay for it. That's how all the Jews got away with all of their nonsense.
It's how people get politicians.
That's how people get politics. That's great. Like, market trading is all of what this is about.
Oh, fair.
So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter. Like, there isn't. He's not wrong. Letitia James is wrong, and Trump is not because Trump is right and objectively so, and there's a provable metric, but because fundamentally it's all qualitative, not quantitative. Like, there's no objective standard by which to measure these things. There's attempts, there's different evaluations.
Yeah. True. I guess it would. I don't know. It's a situation by situation thing, I guess.
That is true.
Well, anyway. Oh no, there isn't another dildo that's been seen on the thing. Just the last one's purple, not green. And apparently the last dildo thrower has been found. I think it was.
You notice how people know more about the dildo thrower than they do about the WNBA?
Well, that was exactly the point I just made, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes, it is, but I was pointing
And
it out.
also more than we know about the PA shooter.
Indeed.
Just saying.
Indeed. Quite interesting that we know more about the fucking dildo thrower than the guy who tried to shoot the president.
Well,
WNBA can make you famous, can it?
What's fascinating about this is, and I'm just going to make this as a comment. This isn't like a right or wrong thing. The reason that everybody's kind of united about the PA shooter is because we assume that significant events have more people put on them to document them accurately, right? And so therefore, with more resources, even if assuming all resources are equally applied, which realistically it'd probably be more like you'd put your top men on it, we don't get an effect. That doesn't necessarily mean, the irony is that it doesn't necessarily mean there's actually like a conspiracy there. It could be legitimately that nothing's there, but we presume that we should produce a net amount of positive information flow based on the proportionality of the event.
Well, to be fair,
and that's always interesting. I'm not making a comment right one way or the other, right or wrong. I just think it's always interesting that that's the assumption we have.
Well, I think the major assumption that's present here, as regards to that as an issue, is we assume that there's going to be any information flow. Because there really hasn't been even like we're on it kind of information flow, has there?
Well, but and also this is not the only
like,
one, right? Like, you have the Las Vegas shooter that's equally vacuous in terms of the information that we have.
Like, just absence of information, not even like a hey.
Steve, he was comped sushi.
You're still looking at it.
Like he was comped sushi, don't you know? He was. It happened. I mean, that's about all we know.
I mean, I'd love to be comp sushi. If I had to shoot 3,500 people to get comp sushi, I'd consider it.
Well, I mean, maybe.
I mean, I've sat down at an all-you-can-eat sushi place, and they all of a sudden started speaking Chinese because they found out all you can eat means all I can eat, and I can eat.
Well, unfortunately for you, with USAID being shut down, I don't know if the people you would want to talk to about exploring that career option, I don't know if they are any longer able to offer employment. Condolences.
That's okay.
But on that
Trump
note,
is funding
though,
ICE agents.
I was actually going to mention that. Yeah, if you are looking for a job, and just by the way, they do not discriminate based on age or gender. You know, they are happy to take anybody that wants to help make America a little bit better and a little bit safer. You too can join ICE today.
I legitimately, like, I would totally consider that, but the pay that they actually are offering, even though they have a $50,000 sign-on bonus, the pay they're offering is actually not worth what I currently make.
Oh, well, sure. Well,
within a few years, within a very short few years, I would actually be making more than that. I'd lose more money going to them. Now, if they turn around and had some sort of intellectual role for someone like myself, like an engineering role, and they paid me accordingly, I would take it. I know somebody. He is a fucking loser and a half, but he put in for it. That was his only. He routinely claims disability checks whenever he can.
Okay. System surfer.
He is. Yeah, he's.
Well, I'd just like to read real quick here from join.ice.gov with a handsome picture of Uncle Sam there pointing, saying America needs you. It says America has been invaded by criminals and predators. True statement. We need you to get them out. You do not need an undergraduate degree. You may be entitled up to these benefits: $50,000 signing bonus, $60,000 in student loan repayment, and potentially 25% premium pay.
Ooh, 60 grand in student loan repayment?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're maybe targeting a
that's $110,000 off the bat right there.
Yeah, that might actually. I might put in a. Nice.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, like, that is. You got to wonder though. What's the red tape on that? Is there a limit? Is it required to be federal student loans, or?
Well, it says up to.
The only thing I have left is federal. And I've got about 50 to 60 left on it.
You don't say.
And so if they turned around,
holy shit!
Yeah, if that would wipe it out, and then I get $50,000 to throw into the markets, and then I got paid what it'd be a minor pay cut. It's not a huge deal.
Well, think about it this way, maybe.
Well, 50 or 60 in student loans left over means you still have quite a bit in terms of interest. Well,
you might be able to do it like a National Guard thing. You know, you might be able to do it on the weekends. You know, you should check into that.
That's not a bad suggestion right there. You might be able to negotiate that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're a high value dude.
I mean, to be honest, like, they probably do have an engineering thing, like figure out how the systems work.
Well, they've got deportation officer, criminal investigator, and general attorney. I'm imagining under the criminal investigator, they need people with technical minds.
This is fair.
I know that one of the things that's always fascinating when you look at, like, intelligence, they actually do tend to have an engineering division to sort through the information that they get. But if you were to talk about, like, ICE and CBP, I'm sure that somebody's sitting there and figuring out, like, how do we do deployments? What's the capability? You know, how do we hide people? How do we detect things? That'd probably be something I could do.
Oh, they've got all kinds of listings here. So I'd say, you know, if you're interested, Steve, check it out for anyone that's listening. I wish we got a fucking referral bonus, but no. But hey, that's it. It's there. Check it out if you like.
We don't have an affiliate link.
No, unfortunately.
That's probably a good thing for that.
And I want to actually add in on that. Obviously, it's funny. All right. Yeah.
Oh, you're breaking up a little on us there.
I apologize. I have walked away from my phone temporarily.
There we
back closer to it momentarily. But I wanted to offer some commentary. When we start talking, I've been thinking more and more about the illegal immigrants thing. I live in the Northeast, so we are very sheltered from illegal immigrants. We don't get a lot of them.
No shit.
You know, unlike some interesting fellows also on this podcast, I just don't. It's never been a thing that, like, when I lived in Massachusetts, it wasn't a big deal. And I always thought it was kind of hypocritical for the blue states to turn around and be like, oh, we love illegal immigrants when you're not actually dealing with any of the downside or any of the upside or the downside, right? Like we turn
Oh, like
around and
Martha's
in
Vineyards, for instance.
Massachusetts and New York, we'd say, hey, look at all of these racists and these bigots. And the reality is that we aren't dealing with any of those problems.
Well,
See,
Martha's Vineyard is
diversity
the
is
perfect example of
strength
that
unless you have
in
to be near it.
micro.
Well, as I was saying, like diversity is your strength unless you have to deal with it.
Right. But if you start thinking through the illegal immigration thing, ignoring the greater economic impact of supply and demand, ignoring criminality, which I think is actually relevant. Even if you were to turn around and assume these people resembled in terms of earning potential and productivity and resource consumption, all the other stuff, the general populace, it would still be a bad deal for most municipalities because they don't function according to the American lifestyle. They always end up, sitting there and living, way more families stuffed in a smaller apartment. Then this ends up creating a tax discrepancy. So they'll consume the roads, they'll consume the infrastructure, they'll consume the education, but they're only paying a fraction of what the estimated tax burden is for that
And
because
to speak
they're
nothing
all
of the
piled together in
remittances
an
they're sending
apartment.
home as well.
Well, ignoring that,
Yeah, above and beyond
just
that.
like our tax incentive is like a portion of its income tax, but another portion is property tax. And so if they're renting 2-bedroom apartments and sticking, two families of 6 in there, let's say, they're going to be wildly over the amount of tax dollars per I don't know what you want to call it, economic consumption or utility consumption. The tax dollar per utility consumption is going to be significantly lower for an illegal immigrant, even if you were to assume that they represented an equal proportion of the populace. And in reality, they represent a lower economic value than the general populace. So they're consuming more resources and paying less out per unit populace, which is detrimental in the long term, regardless of the supply and demand effect and the greater, the macroeconomic issues and any of the other stuff. They're fundamentally, because they choose to live lifestyles that are not in accordance with the average American lifestyle. You end up sitting there and losing resources, or your schools are going to get overloaded, your roads are going to get overloaded, all of the public infrastructure that you pay for is going to get overloaded. It might be empathetic to sit there and be nice to these people, and they might even, even if you were to turn around and assume that there's no criminality aspects that's greater or less than the average American, the reality is that you're going to lose, you're going to be in an economically devalued space in comparison to a place that doesn't have them.
Yeah, no, and that is just in and of itself not taking into account the very specific issues related to these people, wherein you're losing even more money. Remittance, for instance, services that are only available to these people and not available to natives. Any number of other things. Just there's so many examples of how people are cheated by allowing illegals to be there.
And I don't know if I would describe it as cheated. It's not properly accounted for in your.
It's an entitlement thing, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
It is literally being cheated out.
I don't, but see, I think that's a very strong language. I think.
Oh, sure, it's strong language, but I think it's direct and to the point. I think that's of greater value there.
I think it's more along the lines of not properly accounted for. Yeah, I agree that cheated is probably an accurate term in terms of like the average populace.
There's a social contract that we all ascribe to, and we decide to just become part of society, and they break it flagrantly.
Well, I've got a little bit of news on
We
that.
say these are the terms. These are the terms in which you're allowed to be here. These are the expectations, and they immediately do not follow those.
True.
I think that's cheating.
Well,
I think that is a simple way to put it.
I've got a little bit of interesting news in that specific regard. Our man Don Treasy, flawed as he may be, has called for a new census. And this one will only be counting citizens. Well,
yep.
That's
I
lovely.
like it.
Now, speaking of,
I don't think
the
that
blue
he's
states don't
removed
face,
enough people to make a difference yet.
Not quite, but we'll get there.
Well, enough
I-
to make
so-
enough
so
to
when
make
it
a
comes to,
difference,
like-
but maybe not in the overall numbers.
There's going to be some gnashing of teeth and some shaking of fists, but we'll get there.
I think the redistricting efforts are valid, and I think there's I am a firm
we should
believer
speak on
that
that specifically because our most recent guest had some very strong words to say about how the new gerrymandering
Is this your furry
is wrong.
friend?
Friend is
Yes, his furry
friend is
friend.
a strong, very, very strong word that I would not use to describe our most recent guest.
your furry friend
Yes, his furry friend.
is for. Well, I mean, I actually think it probably applies to both you Southern folks. Anybody south of the Mason-Dixon line is as good as a furry, as far as I'm concerned.
Continuing.
That's okay. Everyone north of it's a pedophile.
I mean, between the two, I'd
That
rather
was
be
a
a
strong
pedophile than a
silence.
furry.
That's a strong silence.
No,
That was loud.
I would much rather be a pedophile than a furry. I'm not saying I want to be a pedophile, but if I had to choose between the two,
I mean, it sounded like you want to be a pedophile.
I think
Well, bro,
I
I've
think
got some
furry
good
probably,
news for you. You actually don't have to choose.
Why? Because your friend is both?
Oh God, I hope not.
That would be unfortunate. That'd be a very, that'd be a very unfortunate instance. Circumstances of birth would not explain that one.
Yeah, nah. I think that would be.
I believe he's not. I think that would be a poor characterization of him.
Yeah, I very much hope not. I hope he's not into Cubs.
I mean, Evan?
What?
Are you saying that's a poor characterization of Evan?
No.
I hope that I am also not into Cubs. I'm not. So there we go.
Well, you see, I would not have started that sentence off with "I hope." I would have started off with "I know."
Well,
It's okay.
I'm
we accept what happens in Hillbilly Elegy.
What? That's banjos, dude. Not whatever.
Look,
Anyway,
look,
we're talking about people getting jobs and shit. So let's get back onto the topic.
You're the one who likes furries. It's okay. I accept you however you are, Evan.
Okay.
Well,
You think you're a cat? It's okay. They think they're a cat too.
Okay.
I think that's otherkin. Furries are just people who dress up in weird costumes. Otherkins are the ones who I
think the internet aristocrat
bring a litter box to school.
Didn't the internet aristocrat do a really good description separating the difference between furries and otherkin?
One of them growls and tries to bite you. Or one of them growls at the beef in the meat section, and the other one just fucks in a fursuit.
I think it's a bold choice. Whatever you two choose to do down south, love is love.
Well, that's a guest we never should have had on. It's made everything worse. Great. Anyway, continuing.
I disagree. I think that everybody has a right to speak. We are a free speech. We are a free speech show, and we are big fans of speaking freely. I am a big fan. I think it is better It is better to give furries platforms so that we can have
Better to
fun.
hear. I think it's better to hear them out. Yes, I
That is
demand
a-
entertainment.
That's a fair argument. Okay.
Because
Look,
if you
it's
don't,
not-
if you
it's not
block
for their
the
straight feet.
furries, that's how you get trans kids.
You
Well,
see,
the problem is
I don't think it's even a
that's
free
not-
speech issue. I just want
well,
entertainment, and I think I got it.
we got them without doing that already. So I don't know. I mean, what would there be more of them? Or would they all start
Oh, we
being
shouldn't
furry
have on
trans
more than
kids?
one at
I don't,
once.
I
That'd
don't
be
even
terrible.
want to explore this fucking concept. What the fuck are we doing?
We're exploring the concept.
I know. Anyway, who wants $50 million fucking dollars? God damn.
Wait,
I
who-
want money.
Good. Okay. Well, go down to Venezuela and get
Does it
Maduro.
involve-
Trump's offering it
Does
for
it
you.
involve furries? Hey, no, actually, it might.
Yeah,
involve
get a
furry.
bunch of them together. Get the ones that
Honestly,
have guns. They'll go down with you.
I think
they'll split the
let's
50
be
million
honest.
with you.
If somebody presented evidence that Maduro was a furry, I think that would be worth more than $50 million. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure that would be a problem that would solve itself.
Maybe it would. Maybe. I don't know. But that said, yeah, there's 50 million up for grabs. So if you and some of your guys, got nothing to do, and maybe got not a plane or I don't know, a boat or something, and want to go down to Venezuela and go pick up Nicolas Maduro, there's $50 million for you.
All right, $50 million.
I mean, I was thinking about it. It's like
So
that's
kidnap
way
a
better than
furry.
that ice bonus.
I mean,
I mean,
it is,
yeah.
but but let's be clear. It's not that you go pick up Maduro. It's that information leading to his arrest, which
No.
I'm not entirely sure what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
No. It's $50 million for the capture of Nicolas Maduro.
Well, by who? Because that's the part that's that question.
By
Yeah.
the parties
I
that capture
looked
him.
at that as nothing more than like
Well, I don't know.
a
Let's
virtue signal statement.
Well, hold on. Let's just hop over here. And
Yeah, that's like
get the actual
that's like
statement from
Iran
the
putting
government.
out
See
a
what they
hit
say.
on. Well, yeah, this is precisely the same as far as overall effect as Iran putting out a hit on Trump. We can be fair on that one.
Yeah, maybe. Although
Yeah.
to be fair, you might actually
It's got the
you might
same
get some
it's got the
movement
same
on it.
general effects, except that Maduro doesn't even travel as much.
Well,
Trump's
that's why I
actually
think
going to
you'd
have
to
more
go down and
opportunity to be
actually,
caught.
pick him up. But anyway, I'll just play the release here. Give me 1 second here, and right there.
Today, the Department of Justice and State Department are announcing a historic $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Nicolas Maduro. Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. To date, the DEA has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates, with nearly 7 tons linked to Maduro himself, which represents a primary source of income for the deadly cartels based in Venezuela and Mexico. Cocaine is often laced with fentanyl, resulting in the loss and destruction of countless American lives. The DOJ has seized over $700 million of Maduro-linked assets, including 2 private jets, 9 vehicles, and more. Yet Maduro's reign of terror continues. He is one of the largest narco-traffickers in the world and a threat to our national security. Therefore, we've doubled his reward to $50 million. Under President Trump's leadership, Maduro will not escape justice, and he will be held accountable for his despicable crimes. If you have any information to bring this criminal to justice, call 1-202-307-4228 or go online.
All right, fine. So yeah, it is information leading to the arrest. I think
Also, I
they
gotta
would
say,
probably go ahead
that
and cut you
Biden-
a check if you were able to go ahead and present him, on a silver platter. Just saying.
I got to tell you that tells me that a couple things. One, the previous bounty was 25 million, and 2, Biden inflation's a real motherfucker, isn't it?
Fair. True. True that. But on the note of Venezuela and the cartels, we should probably also mention something else that happened in the past few days That's a bit of a big move and something that we here at the Fake Untitled podcast have long endorsed. Trump signed a Pentagon directive to begin using military force against Latin American drug cartels. August 8th, via the New York Times. Let's fucking go. Been waiting for this for a long time, and they've had it coming. So I'll get at least the basic link here to the disclose article, which includes links and some other statements as well. But yeah, we have long treated these organizations with kid gloves, maybe because they were directly, tied at the hip with some politicians. Who can say? Maybe some Arizona politicians like Katie Hobbs, for instance. Just as an example, mind. Not that I'm citing.
It'll be really funny when we go into, as shitty a place as Mexico is. It's quite funny when it starts to get cleaned up a little bit, with U.S. forces tracking down the terrorist hotspots, like Sinaloa.
Indeed.
They keep fucking around. We already got, it's already public knowledge and disclosed public knowledge that we have CIA drones mapping out where exactly we're going to start dropping bombs. We will Iraq a motherfucker, apparently.
Shock and all, man. Shock and all.
And I'm not talking about the 20-year war that follows. I'm just talking about the first 2 days when it's just ordnance.
Hmm.
There doesn't even need to be awe afterwards. It's just a whole lot of shock, Just, here it is, pal. We don't need this anymore. We're going to leave it with you, okay? Have fun. So, if the SOCOM blockade wasn't enough to let you know that we're serious about it, all the warnings are there to stop.
Yep. Y'all boys need to be farming avocados.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is in the United States, a lot of gangs from doing rum running after Prohibition ended legitimized. You had the entire start of NASCAR.
Yeah, I was about to go into that. The
The
ones
largest-
that didn't legitimize, de facto legitimized.
The entire start of NASCAR from its inception, that is from rum running. That's from breaking the law.
Oh, yeah.
It's the largest sport on the planet by numbers alone. And pick a metric, it's the largest sport. It came out of breaking the law, running drugs effectively. These guys can do that. They can legitimize. They don't even have to stay in the same fucking industry like NASCAR did. Where they'd be like, okay, we're gonna pick this one aspect and turn it into a sport. You don't have to do that. You've got infrastructure, you've got logistics, you can do stuff that matters. That's good. You don't even have to change personnel. You don't have to change. You have to change tactics. Don't kill people anymore. But you can actually make it a legitimate business. And more importantly, you can make it an international trade business because you have embedded infrastructure. You've got people in the right places already to distribute goods and services. Just, make them shit people actually need instead of drugs. It's the simplest flip, and
People need drugs.
It's overnight. It's overnight. No, you don't even need to leaving out the specifics of the product. It's an overnight turnkey solution. You just got to have legitimate business and then report on it appropriately to the authorities for taxation purposes. You've got a complete service and trade setup already done. This is the way that you can strengthen trade between Mexico and the United States without being as shitty as Mexico is. Imagine lifting effectively an entire subcontinent out of poverty in 5-10 years.
Could be done.
That is an insane opportunity. And it's been there the entire time. All they had to do is, stop taking Chinese money and drugs and start doing good. It's not even that difficult. It's a simple. That's a in the original sense of the word, that's a constitutional decision. That's a personal decision. Are you going to have good character or not? It's nothing's going to forgive a bunch of murders, but you don't have to pass that lifestyle on to your kids.
And just a real quick aside. Speaking of having a lot of character and a lot of murders, just one quick moment of silence for one of the men of greatest character I've ever seen on the left, ever in my life, Seth Rich. That moment's for you, brother. He had a lot of character.
He had a lot of USB keys.
Had. That, he handed off to probably people at WikiLeaks, and then he was mugged for no money and killed.
Speaking of being mugged, and speaking of a place with no money.
Anthony Fontano? No, go on.
Gavin Newsom
Ah.
is who Democrats want to pass on as the presidential candidate to bring payback for all that Trump has done.
Well,
I say, please run that candidate. I want to see Newsom versus Vance. I want to see that debate because there'll only be one. there's only going to be one of those.
Well, and one of the so I used to be progressive. I used to be a Democrat. I used to be all the liberal things. The biggest problem the left has is that they haven't actually debated or considered alternate hypotheses for over a decade now. For over a decade, they've just said, we're not going to platform these people. We're going to, everything that we know is so well known that we don't need to sit there and consider it anymore. And the consequence of that, and there is a consequence to that, the consequence of that is that they have not built good structure around their arguments. And, I think the trans thing is the best, patient zero, or not patient zero, but kind of the best example where all of a sudden the Democrats are somehow on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue. And this is routinely they're on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue.
It's quite
You don't get to be on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue unless you're not listening to the 80%. And that's really what's ended up happening. And so,
that's the echo chamber.
This is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they are. It's unfortunate that they've decided to do this because I actually believe very firmly in a strong,
this is what we covered last time. We covered this last time, where it's not just enough to have in a two-party system. It's not just enough to have a good Republican Party. You need to have a good Democrat Party. You really need to have two good opposed positions on things to suss out who's right, who's wrong, how are we going to do things most effectively. And it's not going to be the one side every time. It really is something that takes two. In a properly functioning plurality system, you need to have at least three good parties. We've currently got one okay party, and it's barely functional. The other major party sucks ass, and it needs to be better.
Yep.
I wish Democrats had somebody they could put forward that was not a piece of shit. That had some okay thoughts going on. They can't attract a good politician to save the rest. That's
Have you heard of Harry Sisson, Craig?
You see, this is exactly what I mean. They can't attract a good politician to save the rest. Well,
maybe.
And Sisson is the product of the baby generation. He is not he's damaged goods from the get-go. Let alone the fact that he is following in Gavin Newsom's footsteps early by being by leading out a bunch of women and lying to them repeatedly, apparently, which is just really funny considering that he's definitely gay. Harry Sisson, the cameraman in the the Senate debate room.
Could be. Someone had to take that video.
Exactly. So, like the fact that they think Sisson was a good face for the party before, the fact he still thinks he's a good face for it. You know, it's the same way as the what's his name from the Parkland shooting, getting ousted pretty much immediately for being white and male. You know, from leading the party. Like that. Yeah. So it's ridiculous. Like they have a major problem, and a major thought problem, on that side, and it's not going away, which is really a big issue for everyone. We want them to be good, it's competent, I should say, in order to make the it's even if you're not going to pick one party or the other, because both parties genuinely do suck. One of them should be good, like actually competent and functional and have good ideas. And right now it's just that one of them is less shitty than the other, and that changes, on depending on the issue. But like, it's really it's not even a contest at this point between the GOP and Democrats. Like the GOP is way better, and it still sucks.
Well,
like as a people, we deserve better.
Slow down there, Democrats. Slow down.
As a people, we deserve better, and we're not getting better, which is also really bad. Like the trajectory is not there for us to have a good next 10 years.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that the youth of today will have to find themselves in a situation where drastic actions appear to be their only recourse.
I mean, sometimes good men, sometimes good men must build bulldozers.
Yeah,
well,
there's this thing called fatigue.
Yeah.
And people have got a lot of it, of a lot of different varieties.
Well, politician fatigue is a big one.
That's one, yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of fatigue that's out there, and, we've got a fatigued society. And when people are at the end of their ropes, well, they can lash out at times. But anywho, beyond that, there is something that's happened here in the last few days. We had another new memorandum, and this is out of the Office of the President, obviously. But what this one does is...
I'm going to start issuing memorandums of my own.
You should, absolutely.
I have a memorandum for wanting more pizza. Everyone should have more pizza. That's completely
reasonable. Yeah, I agree. I support you.
I'm very tempted to go cook a steak right now. I think I feel
the need. I have another memorandum. Steak. I have another memorandum. Everyone should have steak.
Well, I had beef stew, so I can't complain.
That is close enough, sir. That is liquid steak.
It was delicious, as a matter of fact. But anyway, this specific memorandum will basically be doing the runaround on all the colleges that are trying to hide all their DEI-related bullshit. Because...
Well, just look for the ones where the protests are still happening at.
Well, yes and no. Because what they have to do by law is reporting. So, at the IPEDS system, the Integrated Post-Secondary Educational Data System, they just have to put in the data. And
then
the data requirements have been modified ever so slightly just to be a little bit more inclusive of data. So there's more to know.
Inclusive data? You don't say.
I do.
That sounds very progressive.
Well, you could say that.
How could a university be against this? How could a university be against progressive data inclusion?
Well, not only that, I mean, how could they be against more data? The more data you have, the better you're doing.
Well, right? This is actually a saying that I have for myself from being in lab plenty of times, is more data is better data.
Absolutely. Well, you're going to love one of the new reporting requirements. For instance, disaggregated race and sex information.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, so instead of just kind of lumping it all together, we can...
You mean binning?
Yeah.
instead of binning.
Yeah. We'll have kind of specifics, good data to work from. Let me just
Yeah, I can't
read
wait for
from
that.
this section.
It's interesting the racists that don't want people to have good data.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
I am pretty convinced there's definitely people cheating.
No.
No, I mean,
Really?
I am like, all of a sudden there's like 5 scopes focused on me, and it's like, what? How is this even possible? And the first shot comes in as a headshot, and you're like, no.
Dude, I was playing with my buddy, my veteran buddy. We were playing PlanetSide 2. There was a guy who was showing up and like from across the map through 4 or 5 walls, sniping everyone, just headshot after headshot, killing them all in one shot. And like we'd move, and all of a sudden he'd show up and like just start fucking everybody over. And then like everybody's spamming GMs with tells, hey, get this guy, and nothing's happening. It's like, oh fuck, he's definitely just like this
Yeah,
server is compromised.
there's definitely a couple people here who are definitely cheating. Like this guy sat there, fired a shot, he stepped down, and all of a sudden he popped back up, instant headshot. And you're like, yep.
I just saw a great meme about that involving bowling pins getting knocked down and just getting back up again.
Oh, on that note, I do believe.
And it says, I believe the conclusion of that was, "Shut up, Mike."
Fair, but for this one, actually, it would be Howard. So
okay.
So there's another thing that happened here in the past week. Howard Stern has unfortunately found himself in the.
It's not shut up so much as pony up, is it?
Yeah, well, he's not proved himself to be the asset of late that SiriusXM might have hoped. So it would appear that he's on the way out. But I've got.
He hasn't been since 2016. Yeah. Why is that? Because he supported Hillary Clinton. Why is that? We have no fucking clue.
I don't know. Maybe
I bet you he thought he was going to get some more money out of it
too. Who could say? Maybe he's an island guy.
I would not immediately throw that on him. I wouldn't throw that on him.
No, the Caribbean islands are lovely. You can go there. You can snorkel. Maybe the Isle of Wales, Isle of Man. I wasn't being specific about what kind of island I was talking about. I can't believe you would make that insinuation, Craig. Jeez.
What, you aren't talking about Nassau Island?
I mean, maybe I was talking. Oh man, I can't remember anymore. The one where they did all the biological experiments and then shut it off from like humans.
Moreau?
Yeah, but the actual real one where they did a bunch of like biological weapons testing and then people still can't go there to this day. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway.
Plum Island.
That's all.
Yes. But anyway, speaking of bombs. Another update, a sad one, unfortunately, because this, up until now, has been my carry piece, is SCCY has filed for bankruptcy. So we spoke about how they'd basically closed up shop. Yes, local Florida company, which makes it a really popular series of guns, but they had a lot of outstanding debts, and they got called in and.
Well, I would say, what the fuck were they doing? But I guess we found out.
It looks a little bit like a bit of one of those private equity situations got them.
Yeah, that happens.
But even still, as a gun manufacturer, you have to be wary of those things because it's a very particular.
Well, you need to be profitable enough to avoid that. I think is part of it.
And on paper they should have been. So something was happening, or something was wrong, or something. Either way, though, unfortunately, they may be gone. Although filing for bankruptcy does mean that they could retain some assets, potentially build their way back up.
Well, because they have certain rights in court, thankfully.
Yeah, so
they can restructure.
Yeah, that is the hope anyway for any reasonable company. I mean, we'll have to see what happens there, but yeah, a little bit of unfortunate news. They make a tank of a gun that is really inexpensive and pretty reliable. With some work, it's actually quite reliable. But
I was gonna say that's a statement. This gun occasionally fires what I want it to.
no. It fires if if you want it too bad enough, it will fire. I will say that. It has the heaviest trigger of anything I have ever fired ever. Period. So it's very safe. It does not go off on its own, even when dropped.
I was gonna say there's a there's a there's a certain reputation for a certain SIG that you want to avoid there, isn't there?
Well, Craig, that's the perfect segue because I've got a little bit of an update on the P320 situation as well.
Do you?
I do. There's a company by the name of Angled Spade Technologies who came up with a brand new safety for the SIG P320. And of course, they're.
Wow.
Is that not owning one?
Well, it has one currently. It's not really able to stop it from firing, but it does have one.
This really kind of pisses me off. In Battlefield 6, like there's clearly some sort of sniper exploit, and that means the snipers are going to get nerfed. And I like playing a sniper rifle.
Unfortunately.
But we were all pinned in our base, and they instantly headshotted all of us.
Well, that is kind of what snipers do.
They provide a series of graphs for like how well you can penetrate into the opposition, and there was no penetration. We just got owned. They must have had like four or five different people.
Steve has no penetration.
Well, much unlike the P320,
This is true.
When faced with a femoral artery, it actually is able to penetrate quite deeply, through and through.
I think I'm going to go for my emergency steak. I feel bad.
That's fair.
Have some steak, buddy.
So anyway, AST, they came up with this new trigger that actually takes care of the problem. Now, if it's in battery and it's off safety, it can still fire out of battery or in battery or whatever. It can still fire by being jostled and having some movement on the trigger, but at least you're expecting that. When you've got the safety on, you're not expecting that. So anyway, they came up with this, and they went ahead and offered it to. They filed it in 2023, but before they did that, they initially contacted Sig Sauer. What is it? They gave them a right of first refusal, I believe it's called, where you say, hey, we're gonna patent this product, but it's for your thing. So is this cool? Do you want to use this? Do you want to incorporate this? Or are we okay to just go ahead? And Sig was like, oh, yeah, no, we don't care. Yeah, it's cool. So there's that. Sig declined first right. So let me see here. Interestingly, AST claims it extended professional courtesy to Sig Sauer shortly after filing the provisional patent by offering them the first right of refusal on the design. Sig reportedly declined to engage, so AST moved forward independently. Now the patent has been published. AST is touting it as a redundant manual safety enhancement that adds an extra layer of security to the P320 platform without altering the feel, etc., etc. Oh, yeah, because it really needs one. It really, really does. Just a quick side note, too, by the way. If you're an Arma player, there's a really nice mod for Arma 3 that increases the accuracy of the representation of the sidearm, giving it a 1 in 10,000 chance whenever you move while it is holstered to go off, much like the real deal. So just to add realism to your gaming experience. But yeah, it's really something that Sig passed on this opportunity, because I should mention this fellow McDonald. Let me see here. What's his? Well, this fellow McDonald, he worked for Sig in various contracting roles and just helping with design work. I mean, he's worked with them in the past, so you could say he would be someone that knows. So, someone that knows, sees a problem that needs a resolution, provides that resolution, offers it to Sig. First they say no, and still, here we are today. That's not a good look, Sig. I got to be honest with you guys. That's a real not good look.
That Department of Defense review is not going to look good for them, is it?
Not super great. It is entirely possible that maybe that Glock will be something that gets looked into. It's a good Glock, a buck, maybe even the 92X Beretta. It's also a really good piece of kit.
Yeah.
But
I think the last gun my dad got was a Beretta. It's a really nice pistol.
Yeah, I've actually got the Taurus clone, and it's pretty okay. It was a Taurus clone, so but still,
yeah,
it's
still indeed.
It feels good in the hand.
Yeah.
So, Sig drama aside, because there's seemingly it doesn't end, but there's also some reports that there may have been some arrests related to the death of the airman who was hit in the foot. I haven't got anything more than just there's rumors of arrests. So there's not anything more I can give you. Keep my eye on it. If there's something that comes of it, let you know. But on the but another update too to what we were just talking about. Some good friends of Alex Jones went ahead and reached out to SiriusXM, letting them know that they have a very popular show that might be a good fit for Sirius.
Oh my god, that would be fucking funny.
That would be one of the funniest things ever.
Just imagine how fucking angry.
Yes.
Oh god, no, just like with the few shows he has left, just imagine. Imagine him having to tell his audience, well, "I'm gonna be replaced by Alex Jones." That Alex Jones.
I mean, if you think Stephen Colbert is salty about his situation,
oh my god!
I will actually offer. I think there's some desalting of Colbert. I think Colbert sat there and listened a little bit to Leno. Because when was it? I think it was Pritzker was on his show. He turned around and pulled up the Illinois map of like gerrymandering. Like you gotta give the guy credit to do that. Like I think there is some legitimate.
Illinois is literally the most gerrymandered state in the union.
Right, and so he showed the districts and said, "Hey, how are you sitting there and saying that this is inherently bad while simultaneously doing this?"
Yeah, fair.
Man, it's weird. Colbert does his job once in how many years?
Well, I think so. So keep in mind he had a contract. It's about to expire because of they're not renewing him. He threw his hissy fit about Trump, but then Leno turned around and said, "I don't understand why you would be so stupid as to alienate half your audience." Well, Colbert has to earn money after this. I mean, he doesn't technically have to. He'd probably have enough to retire on comfortably for 8
months. Sure.
Right, but he will fundamentally want to keep up his lifestyle. And so given that circumstance, he might have actually sat there and listened to Leno, who said, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't be entirely partisan all the time on everything.
Maybe it shouldn't be just constantly a prick, right?"
Yeah, there is the whole after. And it might be nice to do anything in the public.
The irony of consequence is that people start planning long term. And this is exactly why consequence is necessary.
It is. Absolutely. I 100% agree, because when these people have been allowed to get away with this bullshit for too long, to put it in the most simple of terms. I can't dumb it down any more than that. That is the whole of it.
Wait, are you telling me that all roads lead to Rome?
Yeah, maybe. Some say Jerusalem. Anyway, I've got a funny one here though. Tying back into European Union leader and incredibly important person, Ursula von der Leyen. We've got a little bit of something here from the 7th of August, not but a few days ago.
Bandersnatch, who?
That lady. The
Lady of the Night, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not sure exactly who she prostitutes herself out to, but she certainly does. Allegedly. Or something. Or not, honestly. I think I can say that.
Allegedly. Got
it. Exactly. Anyway, so we've got a little clip here. It's in Europeanese, so I'm not going to bother to play it. I'll just throw the links in there. But it's pretty perfect because it's got her, speaking up on stage, and then there's a heckler out in the crowd who's saying,
What did they say? Anything?
Something in Dutch. And to that person, she says, "In Russia, you would be arrested." Of course, at the time, the police officer is arresting him
shortly.
So, on the note of Russia, fan of the show Vladimir Zelensky is apparently none too happy with the meeting that'll be coming up very soon in Alaska, denouncing it as a matter of fact.
Why would that be?
Who can say? I mean, it's not like he's kept people from having elections or, crushed churches or dissent or, curtailed anyone's rights or impressed people into military service or anything like that. I mean,
doing things that might get him reprimanded?
Who can say? I'm sure he never did anything wrong.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, so anyway, we've got a meeting coming up between the people that matter involving Ukraine. That's going to be the U.S. and Russia. Because the EU doesn't, and unfortunately, Ukraine doesn't either, because they don't really get a say anymore. Because all they do is fuck everything up for everyone involved in everything. And
I was going to say, what should they get to say?
And literally make themselves into our on-paper enemy that we have to attack, but for some reason we don't. The Nord Stream pipeline. If we're to believe the narrative, it was Ukrainian operators under orders from the government attacking our allies' infrastructure, and we did nothing.
More importantly, they attacked NATO infrastructure, didn't they?
Yeah, they absolutely did. So we don't have the choice. We must attack them, but here we are, giving them weapons and monies and other bullshit.
So like, when does Article 5 get invoked there?
Good question. Don't have an answer for you.
Not that I want to see that. I'd like to one day be able to, visit the area. There's a particular shtetl that actually has some familial linkage for me. I'd like to be able to visit and say how that went.
To be honest, once upon a time I wanted to visit Damascus. I do not want to visit Damascus now. And
yeah, no
I don't
shit,
think
right?
for the long term in the future I'm going to want to visit Damascus at all. Oh, yeah. That place is hell on earth these days. That's your Syria.
Well, a lot of the stuff that would have been worth visiting there has been destroyed.
It has. Not unlike every place the Taliban goes.
Yeah.
Or ISIS, I should say, in this case. Because actually, exactly. ISIS is worse about it than the Taliban.
Yep. It's the thing I was actually telling my girlfriend. I said, actually, this is a conversation we had a long time ago. We're talking about where to travel and things like that. So I'd really like to be able to go to the Middle East and, see some of that. And then, there's sort of like Jerusalem, and then in Ukraine, there's that shtetl I mentioned. Like, there are places I do want to go and visit that have like familial significance, and personal significance, and and the historical significance of a lot of these places. It's just getting fucking railroaded. It's not safe to go, and the cultural significance is being eroded uh, down to the point of being pointless to even bother visiting, and that's a real shame.
Sure enough, it's tragic, really. I mean, there's
It's a cultural loss for the world. And there's something to be
literal
said
World
about it, like
UNESCO
laying
heritage
that.
sites have been destroyed in our lifetime.
There's something to be said about laying the expense of maintaining a cultural site on a people that didn't necessarily ask for it in the first place. Then again, there's also the potential for national benefit, let alone international benefit on that far outweighs the cost of that. And I'm not saying that there is a financial calculation to ISIS, but it's a net benefit interest in the region to keep people interested in going there, let alone living there. And ISIS is a great example of how to not do that.
Oh, and on the note of dissuading people from things, I've got some other really good news. That's also incredibly grim and dystopian, but if you knew, you knew. And none of this is going to be new, just the fact that something happened. So, we've got an update from RFK out of the HHS saying that the practice of hospitals harvesting organs from patients who still show signs of life will end. And there will be...
So that's interesting because that's one that's kind of had some officialness to it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not it's so
like,
here's a good example.
Just don't check that thing on your driver's license, okay? Because
exactly,
and
that's
if
available.
You're in a position, they'll just not do everything they need to. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah.
And
So there are
states,
a thing. There are states that still don't have laws against bestiality. And the reason isn't because they approve of it, it's because it was never enough of a problem where they needed a fucking law. This is the same kind of thing here, except it's at a national level. It shouldn't be the kind of issue where we need a policy specifically saying don't fucking organ harvest people with signs of life. But here we are. So, the lesson there for people and it's not doctors that are doing it directly here. It's companies, the procurement agencies that come in and to harvest organs and then resell them to the same hospital and then eventually to the patient. The policy measure there is stop harvesting organs in patients that have signs of life. Why we should not even have to have a policy on this, but here we are.
Yeah, like here
so
we are.
In the same vein, like it's not like this is something that needed a policy before, especially in a place that supposedly is about saving lives. But since that is now apparently an issue, here's the policy: stop doing it.
Yeah, kind of well, it's long been an unspoken kind of thing. Like, look, you need to just take your name off of that list, because if you're in
I
there
haven't put
and
my
they
name
need
on this
something.
because this is shit that people knew back in the 90s. This is something I heard about in the fucking 90s.
Same, brother.
Like, this isn't new.
When I was getting my license, it was like, hey, just so
I
you
got
know.
told. I got told you put your name down with that on there. You are telling them when you get into a motorcycle accident or whatever, or you get into a car crash, you're telling them to kill you. And I said, okay, I'm not going to do that then.
Pretty much.
And you get the look when you tell them fuck no in the DMV getting your license the first time. They give you the face, aren't you upset that you're killing people kind of face. It's like, I'm not here to kill puppies. I'm here to save my life after I let you know that I'm a good driver. I shouldn't have to go. I should not. It should not be. It's like a. It's like when you're checking out and they go, "Do you want to round up to the next dollar to give to charity?" And I say, "No, because I already do charity stuff. I don't need to give anymore." And they still look at you like you're a fucking criminal. Like, you know what? You go ahead and pay for it. Fuck you.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
it comes to the stuff with organ donation. It's like, oh, as soon as I'm done with them, you guys can have them.
Well, I think that's kind of the problem is that
It's like I'm not gonna let you guys take them before I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of like my guts being inside, and being mine.
Yeah, I mean, in my faith, it's in Judaism. It's once your body's done, it's kind of done. The whole dust to dust thing. It's like once I'm done with them, you guys can have them. Whatever. Don't really care so much. But like until then, you can keep your hands off.
Fair enough. Oh,
I'll decide when I'm done.
that should be the standard. And
Should be.
speaking of standards too, in regards to debanking and all that, we should probably discuss, some of the issues that people are having with, card payments and processors. Finally, Japan, their government is finally looking into this bullshit, which is excellent because Visa and MasterCard really shouldn't have the.
They've been fucking around. They need to do some finding out.
They really do.
The whole thing we mentioned earlier with debanking and whatnot. That's in the evil feminazis. So I mentioned this very briefly, kind of at the wrong order of things. So mea culpa. But the change.org has been terminating petitions to get rid of the collective shout people.
Come on, Bob.
That they have. But
yeah,
one of the really
and that's fucked up.
No, it is. It absolutely is. But another thing that really draws honestly, a very fucked up parallel is that Visa and MasterCard are fully usable on OnlyFans.
Yeah, no, it's not just that. It's in the context of a girl.
Well, yeah, I want to get into that specifically because OnlyFans has a brand new star.
Yeah, and what happened at midnight plus a minute on her 18th birthday? She posted news that were, taken of her
theoretically that
as
minute.
a minor.
Theoretically, those photos
were all
set up and all taken within the 59
so
seconds
set up
before.
I think set up is the right word. Set up as in ready to be posted.
Yes. So,
I think the amelioration that you're trying to go for there is bullshit that's never gonna fly, even in a joke. It's just no, she was a fucking minor, and people were screaming to get dollars through MasterCard and Visa, mind you, for pictures of a woman who is underage, and there's the whole the whole joke notion of she was 17 years old, 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds old. You sick son of a bitch. There's that little nugget of a joke to it, but when it comes to a bunch of people screaming about video games and how people are disgusting freaks for wanting to play gacha with pixels, representing potentially someone who has a youthful face. It's like, if I'm going to pick the evil here, I'm going to go with paying for a woman who's clearly underage and as soon as she gets onto the platform, making $1 million. I mean, good for her. She made money.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I think her mother, who was helping her, is fucking evil.
Good mom. What an upstanding mom.
So we can turn around and we can say all the bad things in the world, but let's be honest, every single one of us would have really liked $1 million check if we turned 18. And if all we had to do was sit there and strip naked, we do that.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
would,
I mean,
100%.
yeah.
100% if you turn around and said, I'm going to make you $3 million in an hour.
No, you see,
Like,
here's the deal, though. It wasn't you posed it as just getting naked. That's not what it was, though, was it?
I
That
don't
was
know.
having your naked
I
ass
didn't
on the
tune
internet
into it,
forever.
so,
That
like,
was that's having your naked ass on the internet forever and being known
I'd
for
be
that
okay with
first
that.
thing.
If I had my naked ass on the internet, and I got paid $3 million for it, I'd be okay with that.
As a kid,
100%. Yep. 100%.
I mean, I'd
I'd
say
be like,
different strokes for different folks, man. But that's one of those things that. See, that's the other thing is she's just like in theory she's just old enough to understand the ramifications of her actions. I think her mother helping her with that is disgusting.
Yeah, there's a lot of background to this. Basically, her family has been exploiting her for at
100%.
least
I
the
agree.
past
But
10
realistically,
years.
the amount of money that she made, if you turned around to anyone and said, hey, I will put you in a compromising position once in your entire life, and the
Yeah,
consequence
that's
of
the
that
thing though.
is,
Once
and the price of that is this,
that's a promise you can't keep though. It'll only happen once. That's not a promise that can be kept.
what exactly do you think is going to be the problem? Who gives a shit? Who
No,
gives a
that's the
shit?
issue. That's the thing. That's the thing, though. We're gonna put you in this position only once in your life. Okay, promise that. How can you make that promise? How is that going to be something that you can guarantee? Because if it came with a guarantee, that's a whole entire different, that's a whole entire different notion than this can happen again, but we're going to start you early.
Look, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm saying that I would take the $3 million.
No, I get it. I'm not putting it on you as a moral judgment. I'm just saying like that as there's a specific to the way that was described that is not realistic, kind of in any sense as far as like what you could morally negotiate with someone who's not capable of fully understanding, fully comprehending the lifetime ramifications of their decision.
I think that if you turned around to me as a 40-year-old dude and said, hey, would you have really liked $3 million at 18? I would have said, yeah.
I'm sure.
And if I turn around to me and if little 18-year-old me came up to my 40-year-old me and said, hey, it would require you doing something humiliating that would be on the internet for the rest of your life, I'd be like, yeah, fuck right. I'll take that $3 million.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's not a lot of money. I'm just saying, like, what if it locks you into only being able to humiliate yourself,
Yeah,
or
there
making
is
it
the
very difficult? Making it. What if it costs you $4 million to get out of being locked into humiliating yourself
How
for
does
the
it
rest of
cost
your
me
life?
$4 million? I made my $3 million. I can just go on with my life.
No, but that's the thing is, the what if there, like
Like, what
the
you
issue is
define the what if? Like, if you're gonna argue the what if, define the what
how
if.
she
What is it?
how is she going to get out of that industry now?
I literally just don't have to participate in it.
Right. So how does she escape being locked in? Now, I'm not saying that you have to have the answer. I'm just saying like this is the rub is there's not like it's not like she's just gonna get the money and it's a full money drop and she's done.
Well, let me offer this. Right? I'm the highest paid member of the Fake Untitled podcast. I think that we'd all agree.
I'd say so.
Right?
Okay.
I make over 6 figures a year. Not necessarily crazy high 6 figures, but comfortably above barely making 6 figures. If I was to work for 20 years, that would net me a total of $2 million cash. If I got $2 million cash up front, or I had to work for it at my current pay rate, which is not what I started at, by the way, but if I had to work for it at my current pay rate for 20 years, or I had my choice of getting the $2 million up front, I take the $2 million up front. Right? And I can guarantee you that any motherfucker with any sense of financial whatever would agree that that is the smart choice to take the $2 million up front rather than whatever.
Oh yeah, no, that
Like,
is
we're talking
what
about-
you do with
We're
raw
talking
numbers.
about this chick who in like 30 minutes made fuck you money. Right? Keep that in mind. She could turn around. She could have turned around and gotten fucked in the ass at 12:01 a.m. on her 18th birthday. Fucked in the ass. As humiliating and debauchery, like, she could literally turn around and start the process, done that, and said, "Hey, birthday suit pictures are what premieres at 12:01, and all of the fucking begins after that. And we're gonna go the Bonnie Blue situation, 3,000 guys gang banging me at 12:01 a.m. Right? Talk about the full humiliation." And she got $3 million for that whole entire thing. Her whole whatever is on the internet forever, because that's the way the internet is. And you know what? Put that $3 million into an interest-bearing account at 5% per year, and she's going to be living better than any one of us, including me, the
Now,
highest paid member of the
I
Fake
will
Untitled
counter with my own personal experience with women in the adult industry, and that is that they are notoriously poor financial managers. And I will also throw in the anecdotal evidence that they are notoriously poor financial managers. So we'll see how this plays out. But
Yeah, I'm hoping
again,
Christy's going to get out of this and have
being
like, a good
irresponsible with $3 million is not the same as saying getting $3 million is bad, right?
Well,
Those
again,
are two
here's the
separate
thing.
actions.
no, the money
How is she
Two
itself,
separate actions.
you know, blood on it or not, the money is the money. It's just
The money is the money.
Yeah,
And we should be
she's going to
cognizant of
find-
that, because I can guarantee you, as a man who enjoys being a man, if I could have turned around to 18-year-old Steve and said, "Steve, if you're going to get fucked in the ass right when you turn 18 and you're going to post it online and everybody's going to see you get fucked in the ass at 18, I'd be like, you know what, $3 million, fuck yeah, bitch. Because I wouldn't have to work a day in my life at that point.
and if that decision cost you the ability to find a wife,
Do you think it really would?
maybe. We
Well,
don't know.
I don't think
The
it would.
decision wasn't made. So, you know,
I think that if I turn around, like, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm
think
married
it's only
happily
if
and
you
all the
were.
other stuff. If
Right.
I turn around to my wife and I said, "Look, I took a dick in my ass for fucking 30 minutes on my 18th
Please don't do that to
birthday in
yourself.
order to make $4 million," and she turn around and say, "So do you have any of that money?" I'd be like, "Yeah, bitch, I fucking got bank," and I'd fucking pull it out.
and of course,
She'd be okay with that.
we'd have to.
Well,
you know,
later
I'm
on,
not
you're gonna
saying
get into
I'm
an
not saying
argument.
she'd be happy, right?
Okay, but I got a good counter to this one. Is later on you're going to get into an argument, and the end of it's going to be her winning the argument by
Oh,
saying, "Yeah, but you got fucked in the
100%,
ass."
that's going to come out in an
You
argument.
know,
I'm
exactly.
not,
So that would
yeah,
go.
okay,
I'm not,
gay
I'm
for
not
pay.
disputing that, right? Like, you're not walking away from that.
The argument will end with, "You got fucked in the ass. I don't have to listen to you."
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've definitely had the so I think I've gone through the story. I met my wife because I was going to be hooking up with another girl, and she picked up the phone. Honest to God, truth. So, like, no, that I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you. That is
No. I
absolutely
believe you.
100%. The
That's
bottom
just
line
one of those
was,
life ironies, man. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
So I turned around and this girl called me. I broke up with my girlfriend on February 12th. I know I'm an asshole. I really get that.
Eh.
I was into another girl. She'd already broken my heart because she'd sat there and decided to try to get me jealous by telling me that she liked some other guy. And then she's like, "No, you just
Oh,
need to
that's
show
fucked
more
up.
emotion." Right? Yeah. So that had already happened. So I
So that
dumped
was
her.
already
I
ending.
just I tried for months. That happened in October. I think it was like October 16th. I fucking remember it. Like, imagine that's a lot of emotional pain to carry that through. So I tried my hardest to, like, get over it, and I just couldn't get over the fact that this chick had decided to try to, like, pretend to betray me in order to get me jealous. Never got over it. So I broke up with her for another chick. That chick tried to kill herself. And
Yeah,
so
you.
I know, right? That's exactly what I thought. So I took a fucking year off of women. But in the middle of this year, this girl called me and she said, "I heard you're single." And I said,
Yeah, so you're single.
"Yeah, I am, but I've made a lot of bad decisions, and so I'm not." Being single is not a you have an opportunity. Being single is I need to reevaluate my life because I've made a lot of bad choices, clearly, right?
It's like, are you
And
trying to be
so,
another bad choice, or are you trying to be the bad choice?
yeah, like I mean, there's a long line of people who want to be part of that line of bad decisions, but I'm really good with it ending at the last one, right? And that was the way it was. So. And she called me like every night for a fucking week. She's like, "Hey, I want to fuck. I want to fuck. I want to fuck." And I'm like, "Man, look, I hear you, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing a year of celibacy because clearly I have made bad choices. I'm going to collect myself
This is
and figure this shit out, right?"
This is the time where I need to go ahead and swear off the drug for a couple days.
That's exactly right. I'm done, right?
A little bit of
And
sobriety
there's a
goes
lot of
long
girls
way.
that like
woman, let me have
proposition
my
me.
piece.
There's many who propositioned me in that year, but
It's
this
like,
chick,
you
I
guys
knew her.
came around now.
I knew her, and I had yeah, that's exactly right. I knew her, and she turned around and she said, "Look, I really want to fuck, and that's just the way it's going to be, and I'm going to keep on harassing you." I said, "Okay, a year from now," because I'd already been like 2 months into this whole thing, so I figured, given that I always had access to women, that it'd be very easy to just find a girlfriend after I took a year off of women and figured my shit out. So I did that, and I said, "Call me in a year. If you haven't found a date and I haven't found a date." Now, the probability that both of us are single at the end of a year is very small. I think that that's a reasonable assumption in college. I think that's a reasonable assumption.
Fair.
I said, and this was, I think she called me in April. She somehow, I don't even understand how the grapevine worked, because this was back before social media was a thing, and I didn't post on social media. Somehow she found out I was single. I just do not even understand, because my girlfriend lived in fucking Arizona and I was at school in Maine. I do not understand how it spread as far as it did, but it spread. It spread far and it
Well,
spread wide.
ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, women.
I
That's how it
know.
happens.
Yeah,
Warmers.
there is an extensive network that is beyond male comprehension. That is my interpretation of this whole series of events. So I turned to this chick and I said, "Okay, that's fine." Like she called me every other day, asking to fuck, and I said, "No, we're not gonna fuck. We're not gonna fuck. I don't want to fuck you." Right? Like, I didn't want to fuck her, and
Well,
B,
that's the
like,
reason why she's still calling, by the way, is you
I'm sure that was, but I didn't want to fuck her, and like that was like I was doing, and that's a separate thing. So I told her, I explained that I was doing a separate thing. I'm gonna go on my own path, and she said, "Well, when are you off this path?" And I said,
So
"Well, look,
you were a man going
I'm,
your own
I'm
way?
when you're not the one
no,
asking.
no, it wasn't MGTOW. It wasn't MGTOW. It was just
No, I
like
didn't say you were. I just
clearly
said you're a man who was
I
going
have
his own
clearly
way.
made bad decisions with women, and I am clearly therefore need to work on myself and figure that shit out, right? And so this is like April. I'm like, "Look, call me in a year, and if you haven't found a boyfriend and I haven't found a girlfriend, and like, like celibacy, I'm doing celibacy for a year. That's what I'm doing, right?"
Like, women,
I
let me
shit you
cook.
not. It was like a year to the day. She fucking called me and said, "Look, you told me you'd fuck me a year ago." And I'm like, "Motherfucker."
Huh.
I did technically make that promise. Now, my wife turns around and has told me many times, that just because you made a promise like that doesn't mean you have to fulfill it. And I turned around and I said, "How many promises do you want me to make that I just don't fulfill because of whatever reasons?" And she's like, "That's an exception." I'm like, "No, there are no
That's a
exceptions."
different story.
She's like, so
Are you asking
like
me to be a promise breaker, woman? Come on now.
that's exactly right. Like it is a question of personal integrity. Right? One must honor one's commitments. And by the way, like so I called this chick and I'm trying to make arrangements because she called me, like I said, a year to the day, and she's like, "I want to
When can
fuck."
I pencil you
And
in?
April vacation's coming up. Like, let's schedule this and get this on the schedule. You promised me, motherfucker. I did promise, right?
Hmm.
And so she called me and left a message. And this is back in the day before cell phones were prevalent. So I called her back, and my wife picked up. Turns out she was a hell of a lot more interesting than this chick that I had to bang because I promised her I would.
Hmm.
And I tried very desperately because I had that one escape clause. If I have a girlfriend before that day comes up, I am no longer obligated to have sex with you. And my wife decided to stay out of the
Now,
way.
ladies and gentlemen, this should be a good time to remind you that it's always good to have an escape clause in your contract.
That's exactly right. The only problem is
Make sure you don't agree to just going into arbitration. You have
the
proper
problem
escape.
the problem with escape clauses, as I found out, was that women will actively run interference with other women to ensure that
Oh, yeah.
contracts are fulfilled.
They will also sabotage each other because that short haircut
Yep.
looks great on
Yep.
you, girlfriend.
So my wife turned around to me and she was like, "Hey." And the point of this whole story is going back to the original thing with what is it, Tay, which is so ironic that it's Tay.
Yeah,
This
that
chick
too.
in terms of her marriage potential. The reality is that as much as I turned around and banged a hoe, and she was a hoe, and I regret every minute of it. I didn't even get off. I fucked her for 8 hours straight, and I didn't get off. It was miserable. Let me tell you, there
Wow,
is
waste of
a
time.
like that whole Viagra. If you have an erection for more than 4 hours, seek medical
Yeah.
attention. I tell you, I probably should have. My God, that fucking hurt. It fucking hurt for days. It took me 3 days to recover from that.
The
But
trials
the
and
point
Well,
is,
that's what you get
Steve.
for not doing marathon training. But go on.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
After 8
The
hours,
the bottom line is that I fucked a hoe, and I turned to my wife and I said, and she said, "Why the fuck you fuck that hoe?" And I said, "Cause I made a fucking promise." And I tell you, telling a chick that you made a fucking promise to fuck another chick is a far less good excuse than
correct.
I made $3 million in 30 minutes.
That was a very
I wonder.
long way of saying that, but that was the correct. That was
I
the
wonder,
correct
but you
I
make a
am
very
merely
good point.
attempting to place within the structure of the human condition that there are far less acceptable reasons to debase oneself. Far less acceptable reasons to debase oneself than $30 million.
Okay, well let's move in. Let's move entirely on from human debasement and actually some uplifting stuff. A little dark, mind, but
This
nonetheless,
sounds like we're
we've got
still
some.
in the same category.
Well, it has to. There is a tertiary connection. I mean, we are going to be talking about a man with big balls, or the man himself,
Fair.
big balls. And of course, everybody heard what happened. He saw a lady getting carjacked, decided to step in and
Got his ass kicked.
to speak with the urban youths that felt like they would be ne'er do wells and problem causers and whatever other acronym you particularly like. Anyway, the
Euphemism, this, that, and the other.
yeah that they youthful troublemakers were carjacking this lady and
A jogger, you might say.
yeah, future engineers, what have you. Anyway, they were
And doctors
and
lawyers.
doctors. Yes, yeah. These future
Well,
stars.
they're going to need probably doctors and lawyers and engineers. We can say that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, anyway, Big Balls himself, he sees this going down and he can't let it happen. Apparently, about a dozen guys
they're
were
not
trying
fussed by it, is
to
he?
steal this lady's car, and he got beat. He got beat pretty bad. But made it through, and what that has done.
This man's balls were blued.
Yeah, maybe.
And black.
He was
Maybe
certainly
even
beaten black.
Maybe
as
even
well.
black a little bit. Yes.
Definitely. Although
But very blue.
Yeah. But what this has done, Donald Trump himself, he's commented on the lawlessness
He might
of DC.
federalize DC.
Yep. As a matter of fact, to read Elon Musk's specific tweet on this, quoting Donald Trump, a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in D.C. A Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her. It's time to federalize D.C., and, there's a lot of folks talking about it. And,
yes,
D.C. is not safe. And it's one of the most corrupt shitholes in America. It really is time.
That for a while.
This just needs to happen. It's been far too
You know
long.
what absolutely amazes me on stories like this, and this isn't the only one, but it's many of them. The Democrats continuously seek to be on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue.
Yet again. And case in point, too, just tonight, in D.C.'s Navy Yard, about a mile from the Capitol building, there was a shooting. As we were recording.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, about an hour hour ago, a little more.
Dude, how weird! That's so strange. That would never have happened in DC. What do you mean?
Know. How crazy!
It's really perplexing.
That was an excellent steak. I'm glad I had emergency steak reserves.
Well, it's important. I mean, it's like having tactical bacon. It's just one of those things.
It is.
Yeah.
Which you should.
Having some pemmican around,
Well,
it was critical. I mean,
I've been there. It's worth it.
Yeah, but that means I have to buy residual steaks tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's
well,
what
think
it
about
is.
it this way. You got to restock your emergency supplies whenever you use them up. So it's just
this is true. This is true.
Kind of rotate them out.
One should not go into battle without being properly steakified.
Well, not only that, just like Craig says, you got to rotate those supplies. So what you're doing here, really, you're just refreshing. You got to get the old stuff out, get new stuff in. So you made the right 100%. Choice, I would say.
Look, man,
I did.
Here's the thing: I've been there on that shit. You just got to have a steak.
Now,
it is. It's true.
Yeah, sometimes.
I was planning to have steaks, and the wife wanted lobster rolls for dinner, and I'm like, but I wanted steak. And so I had lobster roll. But the more I listened to you fools, I was like, man, I need my emergency steak. I'm just gonna have to emergency grill it up.
You got to do what
That's
you
the
got
way
to do.
it is. Yeah.
Sometimes you make a good decision, and sometimes you
I
don't.
gotta tell you, when I was playing lacrosse, or when I just do workout cycles, sometimes you just gotta have a steak.
It just is what it is.
Lacrosse, the game of the French.
Oh no, it's the game of the Americans. That's the original American sport.
It says lacrosse.
No, that's crotch water. That's different.
Well, anyway, we should probably talk about somebody else that didn't make such a good decision, and that, of course, would be Bill Barr. So, just in
Bill Barr.
Oh yes. So, just in the past few days, the DOJ has discovered some really interesting things. Those specifically including a series of text messages between Bill Barr and Fani Willis on the Trump RICO case.
What? Fani Willis and Bill Barr? What?
Fani Willis didn't do a RICO case.
Well,
no, she did. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
And so there we
got
are.
A stake in the brain.
It'll be. We've done a little bit of reporting on how how Bill Barr's had a little bit of shady connections here and there, but they just keep getting shadier and swampier. Because there's so many opportunities he had to follow through on things and chose not to. and it seems
The beauty of this is that a lot of people are turning around and saying with the Russian collusion shit and the 2020 election, why didn't your AG pursue it? And if the answer is the AG was actively working against the Trump admin,
correct.
that's a good explanation. Now, I'll also offer that I was actually a Bill Barr fan,
I thought
so
well
I
of
am
him
very
myself,
disappointed.
but
I am very disappointed. I misjudged the scenario.
I think a lot of people did.
Oh, that's out of Project Veritas, by the way. I'll include a link to BizPack Review that's got a write-up on it.
I think a good number of people misjudged Bill Barr.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but it doesn't
Specifically
matter
his
what other
employer.
people do. It does matter what I do.
True.
Be that as it may, I think Bill Barr was an interesting choice.
Truly. But yeah, that came out of Project Veritas, so we'll undoubtedly see more because they generally never drop one thing. So let me see.
Yeah, and there's no getting ahead of what's coming next, I bet.
That's one of those you really are going to have a lot of trouble getting ahead of. A whole lot of trouble.
Well, the text messages.
Yeah, it's funny how those
keep fucking over people, huh?
Indeed.
Good old Devil Horns himself, Mr. Struck, he got hammered by those. I'm guessing there's going to be some strategy shifts in the near future. I bet you it's going to coincide with people saying that text messages or secure messages are only used by criminals. I don't know if you caught that, but there's the whole notion of fucking with speech going on. Oh, so anyway, maybe in the next episode. So I've been approached by a fellow Brit Bogostani who, I mentioned, over here they're talking about doing this shit. And it's like, yeah, well, laughs in encrypted messages and it was secure hardware, hardened software, quantum resistant cryptography, and quantum resistant encryption in back-to-back World War wins. And someone said, pray tell, could you go on further? And I sent them a link to the defunct Medicare forums post that I had listed out a whole bunch of security stuff, PERSEC kind of stuff. But they said, could you go on further? So maybe we should go ahead, and as we do periodically, we can refresh the topic of keeping your shit secure and how to contact people in a secure manner.
Indeed, OPSEC in the modern world is increasingly difficult. So yeah, it's always worth revisiting because there's
just
generally
the notion
new
that
stuff
they're
going
to take away. Well, so they're talking about getting access to. This was in response to basically Europe saying we're going to go ahead and get access to all your messages. Why don't we just make it so that we get on your devices and before you even hit send, we know what you said. So that the end-to-end encryption only really matters in that you're going to be sure that no one else is reading it en route, but the government's going to go ahead and read it before you get to send it.
And let's not even talk about what sort of database they choose to use to save it in.
Exactly. So that's where I just okay, all right, motherfuckers, you want to try that road? Well, who's Big Daddy that you guys called in for every world war so far? That's right. So until you guys get to do that on your own, eat shit and die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do fuck off forever, please.
Exactly. And they've already decided that this is the road they're going to go down over in the UK and in the EU, and that if they want to try and pull that globally, no. I mean, they got a hair up their ass thinking that they can do this shit by directing things with their GDPR to finally force Apple to use USB cable to plug in the phone instead of their fucking proprietary generational fuck you to their customers. And it's like that's not the power trip you guys want to go down, because we will win that one. Like that is a whole different level of dumbassery going on.
You know, I've got something we definitely ought to cover. It's a little esoteric, but it's a really perfect and on brand for 2025. So, you guys familiar with
That's
Labubu?
Oh,
The
there
little,
it is.
The little bear toy thing?
Who isn't familiar with Labubu?
Exactly.
I'm actually not familiar with Labubu, but I'm familiar with Beanie Babies, which I've heard is basically what Labubu is.
Yeah, it's like it's an old Russian thing from like Soviet era.
Okay.
And it's now.
I was wondering if it was Russian or Chinese, and now I have my answer.
Oh no, they're all Chinese now, but
they are Chinese. Yes.
Yeah, or at least made.
Well, it's just the alliteration is what makes it suspicious.
Oh yeah, understandable. Yeah, no, it's a Soviet era children's cartoon that's relatively wholesome, like more wholesome than The Simpsons, but not as wholesome as like proper children's programming. So something fun that kids and adults can watch. Anyway, that's your background. Obviously, being a Beanie Baby-esque thing now, it is arguably one of the totems of capitalism, or icons of capitalism in 2025. You can't say it's not. I was at the mall today.
So there was
four
a person,
stores with them.
I watched one of Caleb Hammer's financial audits, and there was a person who spent like $4,000 on like it was either $4 or $10,000 on Labubu, and like behind their husband's back, and just like holy shit! If ever I heard a good case for a divorce, and they were on the brink, they were basically, he told her like this. I think it was not specific to the Labubus. I think it was just because all of their money was being spent. He had told her like we need to see someone to get help, and you need to stop this or else we're getting a divorce. And then I just heard like, Labubu was like, all right, what the fuck is that? And then the guy chimed in and said it's basically Beanie Baby. I went, okay, I know where that goes.
Pretty much,
because this is not like a new problem. This is,
and the thing is too, at least Beanie Babies were actually made in America of quality materials and all this. This is Chinese.
It still doesn't. That is the.
It's like at least you've got one
barest
minimum
point. Scratch of like of a redemption. There's no redeeming that realistically.
Yeah, no, it's you get a half a point for that. Half a point.
Maybe. It's just so.
But why I bring this whole thing up because because there was a point to this. From Groundwork. You guys may probably have not heard of Groundwork. Craig, you may have. Anyway, Groundwork DSA. I know you've heard of the DSA.
I have.
Well, Groundwork DSA is, they're the guys on the ground.
That's the Democrat Shit Association.
Yeah, well, anyway, out of the DSA here on the 8th of August, Hassan was visiting. Hassan Pike.
Oh, was Hassan visiting?
Notorious turk roach Hassan. He was at their convention, this year's DSA National Convention. The big deal. He was
the DSA Nationalist Convention. What?
Maybe they call it the National Convention. I don't know if they're National Socialists. It's a national convention with. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh,
but we're not here for definitions. We're here to report the news. And the news, and I'm just going to read it to you. I'll read their tweet directly here for you because I can't say it more perfectly. Breaking.
Edge of my seat.
Hassan the Hun has officially received the coveted Groundwork Labubu, considered the highest honor of this year's DSA National Convention.
Oh my God.
Could it be more perfect than that?
Oh my God, that's great.
Just
remember, he's the guy who's against gambling and was recently found doing what? Playing gacha.
Oh, Hassan.
I mean, to be honest, I'm against gambling, but it doesn't mean I don't play the stock market.
That's radically
Well,
different than a
the
gacha
thing
game.
is, you're an engineer, and that's technically different, and that's all the reason you need. Am I wrong?
I mean, that is true that
So
I'm an engineer, and therefore I'm exempt from any other belief systems that I have. However,
oh my. Anyway,
Yeah, but it's Hassan is. Yes, he is. He
And
is
just
such a champagne socialist.
and in a just a small update, I would advise anyone that's interested in following the antics surrounding Hassan and his orbiters. There's a nice little channel, More Pegasus. He's doing daily videos on it.
Pegasus is funny.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing: is I find his affectation and several of his like gimmicks on his channel initially fucking irritated the hell out of me.
There are a bit of tiresome moments, but it's just like a commercial. You just kind of tune it
And
out after a minute.
Yeah, except it's less annoying than commercials.
Right. And
I think I have a bias there because I fucking hate commercials. I gotten to the point where I can't even like watch anything anymore that has them. I just immediately turn it off or I just walk out of the fucking room.
Well,
and like Pegasus is interesting, and his series. So some of it is just because he's weird, you know, and that's fine. There's weird people all over the place. You know, we're all weird in our own way. But Pegasus is good. He's usually pretty well informed. Him and Quinn Theo, when it comes to other things related, and then Tectone and hell, Asmongold's they're all been pretty well coordinated on this kind of stuff. And I think it's just because they're all having a great time laughing at it, not necessarily in a coordinated way together, but like just because they all happen.
Well, there is great joy to be
watching the same
had
shit.
in watching a champagne socialist stumble over himself.
Yeah, flame out. Yeah,
and the best part is by screwing up things between
and legal
him
mindset.
and Ethan being the fellow from H3H3, which anybody listening should know him.
Exactly.
They had a bit of a falling out after the October 7th thing happened, and
yeah, Hassan thought it should have happened, and Ethan didn't.
Yeah, pretty much. And so people around Hassan, you know, just sided with him, but they didn't just side with him. They went hard, and they went hard in the paint for him, and they crossed the line. And now Ethan is suing.
They crossed one line, they crossed a few, I think.
Probably did. And, you know, when it comes to Discovery, we'll find out how many they crossed. Because they have all been taken to court. And
and Reddit has been subpoenaed.
Reddit mods have been subpoenaed. It's all
Discord
ogre.
IDs have been subpoenaed.
It is all ogre, and consequences will never be the same.
They done goofed.
Done goofed. That's true. That's true. So in these days of find out times, we will find out. So
yeah, I cannot wait on that stuff. It's like so actually, you know, so my little GoFundMe is still up. Please don't donate, but do enjoy. I've got to be specific on that. There is one donation, and I'm not actually. If you do donate, know that I'm not planning on submitting financials unless I'm like compelled to somehow. So that should automatically refund donations in the first place. There's only one person who's donated so far, and that was Bats, because it was funny as fuck. But don't let that make you think that anyone actually cares enough to donate, because you should not be doing that. I think that's also true of the fat ass and the dipshit, and then the irrelevant one, who I'm mocking with mine. So I had the first post on Frogan's, or not Frogan's, Denim's, and I mocked her, and so for that I was silenced. My post was removed and censored, and so you know I could not abide that in silence. I had to go ahead and make my own GoFundMe. So that's all that is. and it's not going to amount to shit, but it's still really fucking funny to me. Like they've all stagnated, way below their goals, which is fantastic because that shows exactly how alone they are in this, being retards.
Well, there
Like,
is
it
this.
shows that
There's
they're
this millionaire that has a multi-million-dollar content production factory in the area.
no.
of
He
Los
doesn't
Angeles.
have it. He does not have it, sir. He does not have it. Those are the people's productions, the people's money.
Well, that's what
It's
I'm
not for
saying.
personal employment.
He has access to this factory and refuses to let the proletarian friends use his content production factory. You'd think as a man with access to these high-dollar content production facilities, he would help out these other content producers, if nothing else than just providing his facilities. But he doesn't even do that. He doesn't even support their GoFundMes. How sad.
So that said, there was another fantastic individual. In fact, one of the edgiest people to ever recover from being edgy, who has directed people to donate money to these lost causes, and amounted them a net total of, I think, less than $100 on just the one, and $0 on the other two.
Oh, speaking of netting.
That would be the man iDubbbz himself, who also decided that Europeans from Bangladesh are more European than Europeans.
Of course. So I've got an update to an earlier topic we were discussing. Since we're talking about netting things, we should probably just go ahead and mention this too.
Oh no.
Oh yes. All 13 WNBA teams are now required to install safety netting to protect against dildo throwing incidents. We do not live in Syria. These are not serious people.
Look, the long dildo of the law.
Dildos make everything better.
So it seems.
That's what Craig told me.
Oh, these stupid people.
Yeah. And all I'm going to say is that when you take an artist and you give them limitations, they produce even greater art. So what this is going to do...
People are going to just come in with like dildo tattoos and shit.
Well, He Will Not Divide Us was quite the debacle and quite entertaining.
But here's the difference. Like, so the dildos on court are a sign of extreme boredom, and the way that you fix that is by being more entertaining than the distractions. And what they're doing is not that. It's just only going to get worse until they fucking fix their image issue. And in a substantial way, not just like a performative, we want more money way.
Well, and there's the funny thing, they go out talking about how they want to be, compensated for what they're worth, and then people are trying to give them their value, and they're throwing a fit about it,
Yes, a hissy fit too.
I'm telling you, I am telling you, it's
It was a thing, man. This is fucking amazing. Like,
and
have some humility, but oh wow,
boy, it's a time to be alive. There is comedy everywhere. Oh, and a real quick one, because I was discussing this with a longtime person I've known on Twitter, but South Park.
Yep.
They made a fair few jokes at Trump's expense in his first term. Of course they did.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't they? And then 2020 rolls around, and they've decided, we're not going to do politics. And the funniest fucking shit happens like every fucking week involving Joe Biden, from biting Jill's fingers at a rally to hiring some of the most insane and incompetent fucking movie characters for cabinet positions. and they tell not one joke about this absolute fucking farcical situation that we were telling jokes every week, and lots of them. And they didn't tell a damn one that whole time. And then 2024 rolls
Well,
around.
they don't want to be involved in politics.
So they say.
I mean, don't blame them for the fact that Democrats are humorless bastards.
Well, I can't
They're
blame
just
them
responding to the. I think the answer is the same as what Leno said. Right? Like, don't alienate half your audience. You can mock conservatives, and the conservatives will laugh along with you.
for that. Well,
you cannot mock liberals.
Well, there's the funny thing. Is that's exactly what's happened. And quite a few people are very, very upset that the administration and the various media personalities are just rolling with it. They are upset in ways that I haven't seen people upset. You're supposed to be mad. You're the butt of the joke.
That's the thing is they're angry not because they're okay with it, but because they're not supposed to be okay with it. And
that's really it.
That's the thing is it's a warping of their worldview, and their worldview. They're the people who are just rolling with the punch are supposed to be humorless, and they're the humorless ones, and it's pissing them off because that's not supposed to be how it works. You're supposed to be upset.
Supposed to be angry.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Are you upset?
You seem upset.
Mad much?
Oh no!
Me?
That's terrible for you.
Oh me, oh my. So yeah, that's where we are today. Things are. Right? They are. Also, in a utterly unrelated update, just because it bears mentioning, Arch, who I would love to get on the show at some point, maybe, who knows, has been de-PayPal'd because they can do that shit.
Yeah.
So, mind your P's and Q's out there, folks, because they can just fuck you over at a moment's notice.
And they will do it with a grin on their face. They will give you the customer service smile.
To quote a very, very wise man on this, on this specific note, man by the name of Sam, when we win, do not forget that these people want you broke, dead, your kids raped and brainwashed, and they think it's funny.
That they do.
Well, Sam, nailed it. Nailed it, buddy. Absolutely did. Just like, all those Russian fighter pilots that he took out, when he was working over there in Ukraine, flying around as the ghost of Kiev. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, and we are definitely
okay. So
around pumpkin
one
hour
weird
here.
one,
I
and
think
then one good one.
To the
and we'll close her out for the night. So we've got a bit of body cam footage that, of all places, came from NPR. I guess FOIA requests, and it's a bunch of police cam footage. And much like police cam footage, it has revealed things that people don't want revealed. In this case, it wasn't violence against the police. It would appear that there were a lot of police that were kind of nudging things in very specific ways and perhaps making things a lot worse than they would otherwise have been on that cold January day. Isn't that fascinating? So,
did we actually get police body cams for that?
Yes, actually, some has just come out by way of NPR of all places. Go figure. But
wow.
yeah, here, real quick, I'll just drop that into staff chat so you can check it out. But that, so there's your kind of
Interesting.
kind of news, which definitely not the best of news, but we've been saying it, and it's got to be said. So a little bit of good news. FBI Director Brian Driscoll, former FBI Brian Driscoll, the one who was in charge of the FBI on January 6th, as a matter of fact, or at least that area of it, he was being difficult in that he was refusing to turn over a list of all the agents who worked on investigations into the January 6th protest.
Oh, you mean like that thing where they asked, directly, was there anybody there that day?
Yeah,
and
any
they went,
agents or any intelligence assets or any confidential human resources, which of course was we can't release that information. Well, I'm declassifying. Well, we can't give it to you, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's fucking fired.
Oh.
Goodbye. So now someone else can look up those thousands of agents and we can fire those motherfuckers too. Now, let's close it out with a fun bit of news because we've had a lot of FBI fuckery to report on. Loads and loads. And well, it's time for us to have a good FBI story. And they've decided to do the right thing, and they're going to go after those rule breakers. Those Texas rule breakers that fled the state like cowards to block congressional laws and to keep people from being properly represented. Despicable. Well, I am pleased, again, to report that the FBI is going to be helping out. And those Texas Democrats, well, by golly, they're going to get them home. So that they can do the right thing. And boy, howdy, isn't that a great way to close out the show, to know that someone's going to do the right thing.
Within the same realm of that, the Scodex has been petitioned to declare them vacant.
That also has occurred. So one thing or the other is going to happen.
Yeah, they're either going to be absent or they're going to be returned. Like
sure
little puppies.
Enough. And in one happy little closer, Apple made another round of promises for investments and future buildings. So they are up to a total of $600 billion in pledged investments in the United States of America.
Wow. Weird. I was told that would never happen.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Just crazy.
So strange.
How queer.
Times we live in, man.
I'm telling you. Through the looking glass. Wouldn't you say? Well, fellas, it's been a pleasure. Was there anything else either of you guys were wanting to hit before we close it down for the night?
No. I think that's the night.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Of course, you know me, I'm Evan. You can find me at that fake guy Dan. You can find Craig there, CraigBob99, and of course, our man Steve. You can find him at Ratman720. Always a pleasure. Do make sure and share the show about anywhere, any way you can, because it's a good year for us. We're actually legitimately seeing decent numbers. Like I said in the last one, by about 3 weeks. It's not even up to a month now. By 3 weeks, we're getting at least 100 views. Doesn't really go a whole lot higher than that. It can hit up to 500, but hey, pretty dope.
We have our occasional banger.
We do. So, anything, dear listeners, dear viewers, that you can do to help would be tremendously appreciated. So thank you kindly for being here, whether you're live, whether you're listening now, whether you're listening in 3 weeks, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for enjoying the show. It means a lot to me to know that we're doing something that matters even just a little tiny bit. And we've got sources. And, who the fuck else gives you sources? Come on. They're all down below in the links. So with that, everybody be good. Back again next week, God willing, right? And be safe out there in this crazy old world.